President Joe Biden said the possibility of sending combat troops to Ukraine was never considered, even though the U.S. and its NATO allies are concerned Russian troops and weapons movement to the border region with Ukraine may be a prelude to an invasion.
Biden said that he has made it clear to Putin that in the event of an invasion, the economic consequences for his economy are going to be devastating.
They never were on the table. And are you ready to send American troops into war and go into Ukraine to fight Russians on their battlefield? Look, here's the deal. I've made it absolutely clear to President Putin, it's the last thing I'll say, that if he moves on Ukraine, the economic consequences for his economy are going to be devastating. Devastating, number one. Number two, we will find it required that we'll have to send more American and NATO troops into the eastern flank, the B9, all those NATO countries where we have a sacred obligation to defend them against any attack by Russia. And number three, the impact of all of that on Russia and its attitude, the rest of the world's view of Russia, would change markedly. He'll pay a terrible price. And so it's, and we are going to continue to provide for, and we have and continue to provide for, the defense capacities for the Ukrainian people. Thank you so much.
And President Joe Biden is seeking to reassure Ukraine that his strategy to prevent a Russian military invasion will work amid continued tensions over a massive Russian troop buildup along their common border. And VOA's senior diplomatic correspondent Cindy Sen reports.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken landed Friday in Liverpool, England, where worries over a potential Russian invasion of Ukraine will be on the agenda Saturday at a meeting of G7 foreign ministers. President Joe Biden spoke Thursday with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to inform him of his phone conversation earlier in the week with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The calls came as the U.S. and its European allies are stepping up diplomatic efforts to persuade Putin to step back from potential plans to invade Ukraine, with nearly 100,000 Russian troops amassed near their common border. Putin says he is not planning to invade, but that he is threatened by Ukraine getting too close to NATO, and that Russia reserves the right to defend its security. Zelensky said in a tweet that he and Biden discussed ways to resolve the conflict with Russian-backed separatists in Ukraine's Donbas region that has killed more than 14,000 people. At a Thursday news briefing in Washington, State Department spokesperson Ned Price said that in some ways, concerns over a potential Russian invasion are bigger than worries about the people of Ukraine.
What Vladimir Putin seeks to do is to rewrite the rules of the international order, is to circumvent the idea that small countries can't bully, large countries can't bully small countries, that a country can, at the barrel of a gun, redraw borders. That cannot happen. It must not happen in today's world.
It's now up to Putin to step back from the brink if he wants to hold talks about security in Europe. Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Bill Taylor, told VOA.
He wants to talk about security, talks about European security. That's fine. We'll talk about that as long as the Ukrainians are there, as long as the Europeans are there, because they're part of this discussion, clearly. But those conversations can't start until President Putin puts the gun down. You can't negotiate with somebody with a gun to your head.
Taylor said Ukrainians are still very concerned by the Russian military buildup on 3 of their common borders, and by statements by Putin saying that Ukraine is not an independent nation.